Welcome to the hot news of Peace TV. Today's newsletter includes the following topics. Trump ignored the warning after the trial. NATO invited Mr. Zelensky to the summit. Russia claims to have one more country capable of nuclear attack. Tensions on the border of Ukraine and Belarus. Attacks are still taking place on hotspots in Ukraine. Norway announced a package of sanctions targeting Russia. The following are details.
The Manhattan District Attorney's Office, Alvin Bragg, released the indictment, saying Trump faces 30 for charges of forging business records. Mr. Trump declared his innocence before the 34-count indictment that the New York prosecutor brought in his first appearance in court, according to RT. After about 2 hours, Mr. Trump left without answering any questions from reporters as he left the courtroom. Mr. Trump was freed, not arrested, as some had predicted. After about 2 hours, Mr. Trump left without answering any questions from reporters as he left the courtroom. Mr. Trump was freed, not arrested, as some had predicted, after returning from the trial. Mr. Trump made some remarkable statements to his supporters at his Mar-a-Lago residence. Mr. Trump described Judge Merkin as a man with hateful views. That judge hates me, his wife hates me, and his daughter works for Vice President Kamala Harris, Trump told the crowd. Trump also attacked prosecutor Alvin Bragg, saying that the person who should be criminally prosecuted should be Mr. Bragg, when he leaked information about the indictment. The real offender is the District Attorney of Manhattan. Because he leaked information about the indictment, he needs to be prosecuted, at least resign. Trump told the crowd, it is not clear whether the above attacks by Mr. Trump violated the rules or not. If Judge Merkin finds a violation, Mr. Trump could be barred from commenting on the prosecution's decision if he repeats the offense. Mr. Trump could be fined up to $1,000 or jailed for up to 30 days. NATO, after joining Finland, has made a new move to invite Mr. Zelensky to participate in the summit of the alliance in July 2023, speaking after a meeting of foreign ministers of NATO military blocs in Brussels, Belgium on April 4th. NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg said he looks forward to meeting Mr. President Zelensky at the summit in Vilnius, Lithuania in July 2023, First Post reported. Earlier, the Kyiv Independent newspaper quoted Stoltenberg as saying that Ukraine could become a member of the coalition one day. NATO's position has not changed and Ukraine will become a member of the alliance, he said. The first step towards Ukraine's ability to become a NATO member is to ensure Ukraine prevails. And that is why the United States and its partners provide unprecedented support to Ukraine, the NATO Secretary-General said, after bringing tactical nuclear weapons to Belarus. The Russian missile forces began training Belarusian soldiers at the direction of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Tactical nuclear weapons have limited destructive power, usually only used on the battlefield to make progress. Russian fighter jets, bombers, and Iskander ballistic missile systems are military assets that can be equipped with tactical nuclear weapons. Once deployed in Belarus, Russia's nuclear weapons will have an attack range of Ukraine and NATO member states in Central and Eastern Europe. On April 4th, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said that Belarusian warplanes can now carry nuclear weapons to carry out attacks. He added that Moscow has also handed over a unit of Iskander-M, mobile short-range ballistic missiles capable of carrying nuclear warheads to Minsk. Part of the Belarusian Assault Air Squadron is already capable of conducting strikes on enemy targets with means of nuclear destruction. RT quoted Shoigu as saying, thus, up to the present time, Belarus has enough deterrent ability to the threat from outside the territory. After Belarus acquired the power to strike tactical nuclear weapons, Mr. Zelensky made moves to convene a meeting to discuss the border issue with Belarus, with the addition of 1,000 more soldiers ready to fight on the border with Belarus if there are potential instability escalates. As for Belarus, there have been large mobilizations towards the border with Ukraine, but in general, it is still only in detailed calculations. In the Ukrainian battlefield, attacks still take place on all fronts. A strong attack by the Ukrainian army in the direction of Zaporizhzhia a move that is supposed to prepare a larger counterattack. Elsewhere, the spokesman of Russia's Vostok military group, Alexander Gordeev, announced on the same day that the combat units of this military group had detected and neutralized a group of Ukrainian commandos operating in an area controlled by Ukraine. Moscow-controlled part of Zaporizhia in province. Russian military television today published a video of the US-77 Meteorit self-propelled minesweeping vehicle belonging to the Central Military District, participating in a battle on the defensive positions of Ukraine. The exact time and place of the battle were not announced by Russia. In the hills in the village of Chasivya, on the outskirts of Bakhmut, Ukrainian soldiers are hard at work digging trenches, arranging more wooden fortifications. This is part of a newly fortified defense line west of Bakhmut, the most intense flashpoint in Ukraine at the moment. New Norwegian penalties include blacklisting 87 Russian individuals and 30 for entities, banning the import of certain raw materials from Russia and banning the sale of dual-use goods, a term used to refer to technology and components with both civilian and military applications. The introduction of similar sanctions against the bloc represents a strong and clear European response to Russia's war in Ukraine, Foreign Minister Anniken Huitfeldt said. According to RT, EU sanctions, especially the ban on imports of fossil fuels from Russia, have pushed the bloc into a crisis of escalating inflation and record energy costs. Meanwhile, these measures have failed to cripple the Russian economy as Western politicians and experts had predicted, according to IMF data. The Russian economy will grow faster this year than Germany, according to the Russian side, while the Norwegian government insists that this policy harms the Russian economy. Oslo has also paid the price.